Hello, I'm Vera Kriezi, and I'm a librarian working for the Music Library of Greece, Lilia Moudhouri, as a New Technologies and Development Manager. So I'm very happy to be here. Although I believe that in this conference we would have the opportunity to be live and not from Zoom, but hopefully next year we'll have this chance without COVID. So today I will talk to you about our work, our research work in French Music Society, and how we hope to enhance visitor experiences with the use of technology for our cultural heritage material. So let me use, I think it's fine now. Nowadays, in libraries, we're facing challenges such as the decrease of library visitors and the loss of interest in traditional library material. Moreover, in the case of archives, where the material is even more demanding and more difficult to get in touch with. When it comes to visits, only a limited group of people, and especially experts or academics, know how to deal with, and some others are afraid to use this material because of its speciality, and of course it's very difficult to interpret without having special knowledge on how to use it. Furthermore, most of the times, this type of material needs guidance, special guidance, and assistance by an information specialist and or an archivist. So these constraints and problematics have initiated us to think outside of the box and to be creative when it comes to the promotion of cultural heritage material. So as libraries are turning to cultural interactive spaces, we came up with the following concerns, now unformulated as research questions. So, excuse me. What if archives could be used as the yeast for a memorable user experience? What if the valuable archival artifacts could trigger the interest of a visitor? What if the personal experience of an artist or a music composer would attract and affect a wider audience? What if the visitors knew the historical and social background of an artist or a music composer? Could they appreciate differently the produced artwork? These, together with Athena Research and Innovation Center, we designed the research project ARIA, co-financed by Greece and European Union, in order to reuse and exploit in a meaningful way the digital inventory of the Music Library of Greece. In ARIA, we will use the case of the archive of Nikos Skalkottas, a Greek composer of 20th century, as a pilot experience. The choice of the composer, Nikos Skalkottas, was made since he was one of the most important composers and musicians of art music in Europe, and his personal archive is now preserved in our library. Furthermore, Skalkottas has composed tonal and non-tonal music artworks. Some of them are well known to the Greek audience, some others not. So this complexity in his music can be valuable sometimes when it's appreciated by visitors. And we hope that will provide us with very interesting results at the end of the project. The major objectives of the project are to promote public engagement with the archive, to augment the reception of music composition through the establishment of an effective connection between the visitor and the composer, to indicate how the use of XR and innovative technologies affect the user perception, and to measure the effect of knowing the social and historical context in which a composer lived and the impact it has on the perception of one's artwork. The research methodology we follow in our project has three main stages. First one is a user study was a user study circulated in the wider public, designed to record user needs in relation to enhanced experience design for the archive of Nikos Skalkottas. Secondly, we had to study the literature review to support the experience design. And finally, a formative design and the evaluation of the pilot experience through a series of tests on focus groups. ARIA design design is based on a pre-visit and post-visit model. Visitors are asked to listen to a music piece by Nikos Skalkottas and then to record their emotions that evoke while listening. The annotation will follow an immersive experience in the Berlin of 1920s, where the composer lived and wrote many of his works. The second phase of ARIA will be a collaborative mobile experience based on digital storytelling, where the users take the role of an imaginary character and through a storyline and a structured scenario are navigated to composer's life. In the third phase of ARIA, the post-visit, the users are asked again to interact with the music piece and compare their emotions. Now I will give you some details about the experience in the stages of ARIA. In the immersive experience, the user will travel back in time in Berlin of 1920s and will have the chance to dig in composer's past through archival material to feel the historical and political background of this time and achieve a connection with the composer himself. In the collaborative digital storytelling, we follow the constructivist model of learning, where knowledge is actively constructed by the user. And through collaborative activities and facilitated dialogue, we encourage the engagement with the content and the music works. We aim to extract the user's emotions with these two experiences after participating and to compare the feelings before and after the XR visit. Here are some examples of phase one in the VR, where you can see the pictures. We are experimenting with emotions, with musical notation. Then in phase two, there are some sketches from the collaborative experience with the mobile devices. The story is called 13 Interviews, a journey through time in search of Nikos Skalkottas. The user takes the role of a journalist named Andrea Zepos, who's asked to write a tribute to Skalkottas. The user, journalist, travels to Chalkida, Athens and Berlin, the places where Skalkottas lived and worked, and interviews imaginary people, trying to paint the picture of the composer and the era he lived. Historical contextualization is achieved through the provided content by the digital storytelling application. The aim of the digital storytelling experience is to capture the user's interest in the life and work of Skalkottas and to enhance their knowledge not only about Skalkottas, but also about the historical period he lived. Additionally, by the end of each episode, after the episode is the interview, the users are called to interact and act collectively in topics relevant to each part of the experience. In phase three, users are asked again to interact with the music piece and record their feelings, annotate their feelings through the VR. Now we are almost in the midterm of the project, and we have encountered some new challenges that have ended up to some substantial observations. For example, VR environment is totally immersive, and the user wants to be part of this environment. So we actually encourage user participation. In VR also, we need to determine time and place where Nikos Skalkottas lived and composed many of his works to achieve a connection with the historical empathy framework. Also, to simulate the expression of feelings, the part of the annotation in the music piece, it was very difficult in VR. So we're examining alternatives to do so. VR gives us the opportunity to effectively reuse digital archival material through trigger points and encourage the user to interact with it as part of the experience. Also, VR keeps the interest of the visitor high level, and it is a very good way to attract wider audiences. The next steps of ARIA are to redesign the VR environment in phase 1 and 3. And of course, hopefully in spring 2022, we'll have the evaluation phase where we will test the pilot to certain focus groups. If you want to know more about ARIA and what's going on, how it progresses, you can learn more in our webpage, in ariaproject.gr. And you can follow us also on Facebook, where we posting for new things that are happening. And of course, it's very nice to have you here if you ever visit to Greece and Athens, and be part of this XR experience with cultural heritage. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have for ARIA. Thank you for listening.
Super.
So Leslie is asking if there is a prior knowledge on how to the emotional response, whether it is only the music or it happens to be something the user remembers and associates with the music. There are studies, there is a literature review on it, but actually what we want to annotate is if whether the user, the visitor, knew the composer, some more information about the composer or the music or the historical background that he wrote the music, facilitates the perception of the appreciation of the piece and evokes different feelings, because actually in ARIA we are studying this this question. Either you know, or without you know the more information about the composer, or you don't, and you actually respond to the music itself. So it's not very easy to explain. Did I cover Leslie? No.
Yes, she said, thanks, okay. Sounds more even more fascinating now.
Okay, thank you.
Vera, what are your sort of, where are we going? Where will we be, do you think? Where would you like us to be?
Yeah. I see a future with plenty of technology, of new experiences, because now we are in the research part of many projects that have VR, AR, mixed realities, visual arts, whatever. And I cannot imagine cultural heritage without these technologies from now on. Mm-hmm. And this is very also because we actually have to engage the younger audience, since there are digital natives that are growing up. And for example, my daughter is 8 years old and plays Minecraft from 3. And she knows how to move, she knows how to deal with technology very, very much better than I do. And she expects the future to be like this. So if we want to be more competitive as CHIs, we actually need to see the future like this, mixed with technology in a meaningful way, of course, not only just for technology, just to have technological tools without any meaning, because it's the future and we cannot do anything of stepping back. So we are moving forward to this. We have the skills, hopefully, to take this challenge. And also it's very important to, for example, in ARIA, we deal with a situation the emotion, to record the feelings. We're planning to annotate the music, to express the feelings and annotate it in VR, in virtual reality environment. We tried many methods of doing so, like trying to reflect our feelings in VR, and it was very difficult to extract the feeling. So some things may stay in an analog way, in a traditional way, in an old-fashioned way, but some others will be different, and we have to be there to make the better use of it. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for ending us in that big picture, really inspiring end to the workshop. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us.